How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Yudalid, Daf 114 of Masechta BavaMetzia. Friends, all right. Here's the dealio. Today's Daf talks about like more mashkon things. Yeah, and like if you have to like leave him like enough stuff to like live with stuff. Yeah, like Tzorkei Chayev, the stuff that he needs. All right, we're going to start off Kuf Yudalid Amud Aleph, 2 lines into the Amud. Ibarlu de Asakasha. Maushi Yisadru Bibal Chov. Okay, so when it comes to a Baal Chov, okay, so Shimon lent Reuven $1,000, and Shimon takes a security from Reuven. Does he have to leave Reuven with Tzorkei Chayev, with like basic stuff that he needs? Migomer Micho me'arochin. Do we learn out the Gzer Shava Micho from arochin, that it says by arochin, when somebody donates the erech of a person to the Beis Hamikdash, which is a fixed amount based on age and gender. So it says imochu me'erkecha, and it says by halvav v'chiyamuch what v'chiyamuch achicha umato yado imach v'chzakta bo gervitoshe v'chai imach. Okay, so it says yamuch, which is mach. So it says micha. It says mach by like both Gzer Shava. Wow, I feel like I can't talk. All right. Me'arochin, so just like, so do we say just like by arochin, you have to leave for him his basic needs? So we say the zel bazach, the same thing by a loan, by taking a security on a loan. Olo or nisht. Ta shma, come in here. The shalach Ravin be'igrisei. Ravin sent in, I guess, a letter that he sent from, I guess, Eretz Yisrael above. Ataka asked this kasha to all of my rabbis, do we make the Gzer Shava? Don't we make the Gzer Shava? V'lo amruli dover, and they didn't tell me. However, kach oisa she'ela, there was the following question from which the answer will emerge. The question is, ha'omer arei olai mone levedek habayis. If a person says, I am going to donate a mana to the temple treasury, so it's hektish, right? Neder. Okay, he's gonna give money to the bedek habayis. Okay, mau sheyisadru. So do they leave him? So let's say he doesn't have the amana. Do they have to leave him tzorkei chayev? Rabbi Yaakov mishmei de bar Pora, v'Rabbi Yirmiyah mishmei de ilfa amrei. Kal v'chomer mi Baal Chov. Well, we could learn out our answer from a Kal v'chomer from a Baal Chov. Kal v'chomer is like where you really got to use your brain. The Kal v'chomer are very sneaky things because they seem like it's not so complicated, but you really got to grind your brain to figure out exactly the logic. I'll call upon him. Ami kavachomer mi Baal Chov. Well, let's learn a kavachomer from Baal Chov. Uma Baal Chov shemachzirin. Well, a Baal Chov is lenient in that we return the security to the borrower when he needs it, and yet ein misadrin, we do not ensure. I guess if you sell it, I guess. That he has what he needs. Hektish she'ein machzirin, but by hektish where you are, 1 second. Yeah, exactly. So hektish where am I? Okay, fine. Yeah, great. So hektish she'ein machzirin. So by hektish, right? So for example, when he says that he's going to give a mana to the bedek habayis, so we don't, whatever we take from him, we don't give back to him, even if he needs it. Enodin she'en misajin, then certainly we don't leave, we don't have to leave him with tzorkei chayev, right? If by a Baal Chov, where we return the security to him when he needs it, and yet when we sell it, we don't leave anything, so then certainly by hektish, where we don't return it to him, certainly we don't have to worry about tzorkei chayev. So we see from there that the assumption is that when it comes to a Baal Chov, ein misadrin. Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Yochanan, neder be'erkecha ksiv, whereas Rabbi Yochanan says, well, the pasuk says neder be'erkecha, so we're comparing a neder to arochin. So ma arochin misadrin, so just like by arochin, we don't take everything, we leave him his basic needs. Afektish misadrin, we would say the same thing by hektish, that we would leave him his basic needs. Ve'idach, now according to the first opinion, what does he do with neder be'erkecha? How l'nidon b'chvodo hu de'aso. That's for nidon b'chvodo. Ma'arochin nidon b'chvodo, af ektish nidon b'chvodo. This is interesting. What does it mean nidon b'chvodo? It means, by how does arochin work? Arochin works that you say that the erech of this person is upon me, and I'm going to donate the erech. It's a fixed value based on age and gender. Now, you only give the erech, you only donate the erech of a full person. If you say, I'm going to give the erech of somebody's hand, there's no such thing as the erech of somebody's hand. But if you say the erech of somebody's heart, well, then that's basically saying that I'm going to his heart, or like a vital organ, is something that is basically his life is dependent on it. So then, you're basically saying you can give the erech of the whole person. So depending on what sort of the body part is, if it's a hand, so then it's nothing. If it's a heart, then it's everything. So we say, so neder be'erkecha, we want to say, so according to the, I guess, who's that, like Barpada and Ilpa, that neder be'erkecha, you would say that just like by arochin, if you say the erech of the heart, so then it would be like you basically committed to the erech of the whole person. So also by a neder, if you say that the value of I'm going to give the value of this person's heart to the Beis Hamikdash, you're basically giving the value. Now the difference between damim and erech is that erech is a fixed amount, damim is his actual value, if it would be sold as an eved. So if you say that I'm going to give the damim of his heart, well then he's basically saying the damim of the whole person, as opposed to like the damim of his hand. Well then that would just be the hand. Okay, fine. So that is what they would learn out from neder be'erkecha. Whereas Rabbi Yochanan that neder be'erkecha to say that just like by harachin you leave his basic needs. So the same thing by nedarim. So again, that we basically judge based on his honor, based on the significance of the organ or body part that we're talking, or limb that we're talking about. Just like by arochin, we consider, the value, is it like the heart or is it the hand? So hektish nidon b'chvodo, we would say the same thing by hektish. If you say the value of the heart, then it would be the value of the whole person. If it's a value of like the hand, then it would just be the hand. V'yisadru b'balchov kal v'chomer me'arochin. But why don't we make the following kal v'chomer from arochin? Uma arochin she'ein machzirin. Arochin that's more stringent in that we don't return what we take, misadrin, and yet we leave him his basic needs. So balchov shemachzirin. So a balchov where we return the security when the borrower needs it. Enudin shemisadrin. I would say that certainly then you should be misadrin, that we should leave him with his basic needs. But we had said earlier that we don't. So Makra, the pasuk says, V'im machhu me'erkecha, right? That if v'im machhu, by arochin it says machhu me'erkecha, right? That when you can't afford it, we're saying who, specifically by arochin, we leave him his basic needs. V'lo balchov, but not by a balchov. By balchov, we would not be concerned with his basic needs. V'idach, now according to the Tanakama, however, who says that we keep on giving back the security indefinitely, right? Remember, Shimon ben Gamliel said that after 30 days you just sell it, and we're not concerned about his basic needs. According to the Tanakama, we keep giving it back to him indefinitely. So, ad sheyeh b'makuso machuso mitchilaso v'ad sofo. What Tanakama would learn out from imachhu me'erkecha is that it's not limiting the basic needs to arochin, because the Tanakama would say that we would keep preserve the basic needs by Balchov as well. What he learns out from that pasuk is that he has to be, so if he, by Arachin, if he gives pledges the erich of a person and he's poor and he can't afford it, but then before he's evaluated to see what he can afford, he becomes wealthy and he can afford it, so now he will be able to afford it, and we wouldn't, and he would have to pay the entire amount. V'yachziru behekdish kavachomer mibalchov. Why don't we say that by hekdish? Right, when you say like I'm going to give a mana to the Beis Hamikdash, so v'yachziru behekdish. So if he can't afford it and they, then they take stuff from him, so then you should return it if he needs it. Kavachomer mibalchov from a kavachomer from balchov. Ma balchov she'ein misajin. If we're saying that we don't preserve, his basic needs by a balchov, and yet machzirin, but yet, I guess at least during the first 30 days, according to Shimon Gamliel, we are returning, because I think the whole point of the Emes Hadron would dafka be according to Shimon Gamliel, who's saying that that we sell it after 30 days and don't leave anything. But yet for 30 days we would return the security to him. So hektish shemisajin. So by hektish, where we do make sure that he has what he needs. Enudin shemachzirin. Certainly, we should return the security. We should return what we take to him. The pasuk says v'strachab b'salmaso uveracheko. That it says by a balchov that you'll return it to him, and he will sleep with his garment that you return to him, and I guess you will be blessed. Yotze hektish. Now this is not relevant by hektish. Shein tzarich bracha, because Hashem doesn't need our brachas. V'lo, Hashem doesn't need our brachas. It says you'll eat and then you'll bless God. So Ella, very interesting. Ella Amar Kra, the pasuk says v'lchasi et tzedakah. But the same pasuk, by returning the security, says, and it will be for you charity. Misha tzarich tzedakah yotze hekdish shein tzarich tzedakah. So by somebody by people who require charity, as opposed to Hashem, who doesn't need our charity. Ashkeche Rabba bar Avua the Eliyahu. This is interesting. So Rabba bar Avua bumped into Eliyahu Hanavi, the koi beveis hakvaris shel ovdei kochavim, who was in a beis hakvaris of ovdei kochavim. Amalei ma'u sheyisadru bebalchov. So Rabbi bar Avua took the opportunity to ask Eliyahu Hanavi, what's the halacha with a balchov? Do we have to leave him his basic needs? Amalei gomer micha me'arachin. He says, you bet, because we learn Alex Shava micha from arachin. It's very interesting because we say teku, right? Which I think I don't know if it's actually correct or whatever, but it's generally assumed to mean that was it Tishbi Yitaritz Kushis V'Bayus, that that we'll wait till ask Eliyahu Hanavi. And like here we have an example of somebody had the opportunity to ask Eliyahu Hanavi, and he got an answer. There you go, he has his answer. Okay, it's going to be great, huh? Gabi Arochin me'arochin. Gabi Arochin ksiv ve'imoch hu me'arkecha. Gabi Balchov ksiv v'chiyomuch achicha. So we have this micha. Minayin la'orim shel Yisro. And how do we know that somebody who's naked should not make a bracha on separating truma? The ksiv, as the pasuk says, v'lo yeroi bicha ervas dover. That I guess you shouldn't be naked when making a bracha. Omar le, so then Rabba bar Avua says to Eliyahu Hanavi, Lav koyin humar, aren't you a koyin? So Rashi says, Tikalamanda Omar Eliyahu hu Pinchas, because there's an opinion who says that Eliyahu Hanavi is Pinchas. Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aharon HaKoyin. Wow. So Rabba bar Avua says to Eliyahu Hanavi, aren't you a koyin? What are you doing in a Beis HaKvaris, in a cemetery? My time of koi my beveis akvaris. How come you're in a cemetery? Omar lei. So the Eliyahu Hanavi says, Lo masni mar Tyrus. Rabbi bar Avua, didn't you learn Tyrus? The Tani that we learn in the Brayso, Reb Shimon ben Yochai Omer says, Reb Shimon ben Yochai kivrein shel ovdei kochavim ein metamen. That the graves of ovdei kochavim are not metame. Shneimar, the pasuk says, Va'atein tzoni tzon marisi, and you are my flock that I shepherd. Odom ateb. You are Odom. Atem kriyim Odom. Ve'en ovdei kochavim kriyin Odom. You are called Odom. Ovdei kochavim are not called Odom, and therefore they are not mitame and therefore they are not Mitami Tumas Hames. Omar Le, Rabbi Barvua says, look, Barba Lo Matzina, look, I could barely learn 4 out of the 6 Siddharim. I could barely learn Moyed and Noshim and Nizikin and Kodshim. Beshisa Matzina, you really think I would be able to learn also Zroim and Tyrus? This is amazing. Okay, Omar Le, so Eliyahu Hanavi says too, Rabbi Barvua v'amai, why can't you also learn Zroim and Tyrus? Omar Le Dechika li Milsa, he says, because I'm too poor. It's too, it's too difficult for me. I'm very poor, and it's difficult for me. I guess I'm busy trying to figure out how to survive. It's very interesting. There was a Gemara in Masechta Brachos where I think her Papa asked Abaye, I think it was Daf Chaf, that what's the deal? In our generation, I think it was her Papa. He says, in our generation, we are mamish we're learning absolutely everything, even uktzin. Right, where we say we learn uksin betleisar mesifta or something like that. They were learning everything. But whereas Rabbi Yehuda, we said that Rabbi Yehuda, you would ask him a kasha in uksin or whatever. He would say it's the boy is the Rav Shmuel, something like that. It's very interesting. Meaning, right there, right, we had said that like by Rabbi Yehuda, most of his learning would be in Nizikin and things. And then we said, but Rav Yehuda, if he needs rain, he asks for rain, and before he even fasts, he just takes off his shoes, he immediately gets rain, whatever. It's very interesting to see also here, Rabbi Baravua, Rav Nachman and Rabbi Baravua. Rav Nachman was the contemporary of Rav Yehuda, early Amora. And Rabbi Baravua is the Rebbe of Rav Nachman, and he's saying, look, I don't know anything about Tyrus and Zroim. Very interesting. Okay. I assume when he says he doesn't know anything, is probably take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, very interesting. It's consistent. That with like those earlier generations, it sounded like most of their learning was maybe in specific areas. Anyways, so Amlev Amai, right? So Eliyahu Hanavi had said to Rabbi Barvua, Amar ledchikali milsa. He says because I'm too poor. It's too difficult. But I have to figure out how to survive. I don't have time to learn those. So Amar Lei. Where am I? So Dabre, so Eliyahu Hanavi took Rabbi Barvua v'ayla l'Gan Eden, and he brought Rabbi Barvua to the Garden of Eden, Omar Le, and Eliyahu Hanavi instructed him, Pshot Glimach, take off your cloak, Svei, Shkol, Me'ani Tarfe, and collect and take from these leaves, that you see these leaves in the Garden of Eden, collect these leaves, Safa, Shokal. So he took these leaves. Kiava Nofik, and when he was leaving the Garden of Eden with these very, valuable leaves, Shama de Ka'amar Man, Shama de Ka'amar, you heard some kind of a voice coming from Gan Eden. Man Ka'achel Alma, Rabbi Baravua, why is Rabbi Baravua, using up his Olam Haba? So when Rabbi Baravua heard that, Nofatz Shodinu, so he threw them back. He didn't, once he realized that this was coming on cheshbon of his olam haba, he put him back. But even so, Asir leglime, when he came back with his cloak, sochat glima reicha, his cloak still had the fragrance of the world to come, of the Garden of Eden. Zabne betreser alfe dinre, and he managed to sell that cloak with the fragrance of the Garden of Eden for 12,000 dinars. Gold ones or silver ones? Palginu lechasan vase, and he divided them up among his son-in-laws. And if he's a poor person, do not sleep with his blanket, let's say. But what if he's a wealthy person? You can sleep with his blanket. How could that be allowed? You lent him money, and now he's giving you a collateral, and you're using it. That's interest. So Micah Amar, what's going on? Amar V'Sheshes says of Sheshes Achi Kamar, this is Pshat V'im Ish Ani Hu, if he's a poor person, Lo Tishka V'Avoto Etzlecha. No, if he's a poor person, make sure to return the security to him. Don't go to sleep, with his security around. If he needs it, return it to him. But if he's a wealthy person, he doesn't need it back right now. So then you go to sleep and you don't have to return it to him. You can still have it in your house. Okay, so this is a kind of, it's not a very, this is like 5-10 lines. It's a little bit of a funny 5-10 lines. Okay, Shimon lends Reuven $1,000. He can't go into Reuven's house and take a collateral from him, as we know. And he does not need to return it to him. What does that mean? And he's in violation of all of these psukim. So Rashi says, so there's like different psukim that say that you have to return it. And if you, so you'll be in violation of those psukim. What's going on? My comment, what's pshat? Amr of Sheshes, says of Sheshes, this is pshat. Hamalve es chavero, that if somebody lends his friend, right? So Shimon lends Reuven $1,000. Okay, so Shimon can't go into Reuven's house and take a collateral and take a security from him. Ve'im mashkino, and if he did, then he needs to return it to him if he needs it. Right, so meaning so the Bryce says so if Sheshi says no, that's a mistake, it should say chayav lachzor. He has to return it to him if he needs it, right, as we know. And if he doesn't return it to him, well then he's going to be in violation of those psukim. Rava Amar says Rava doesn't like that Rav Sheshes is basically, even though the Bryce says Eino chayv lachzor, Rav Sheshes says chayv lachzor. It's like literally the exact opposite of what the Brisa says. So rather, Rava kind of adds a bit to it in order to, explain it. Rav Amar says, Rava achi kamer this pshat amav es chavero, that if Shimon lends Reuven money, eino rasha lemashkino, Shimon can't go into Reuven's house and take a collateral from him, take a security from him. Ve'im mashkino, and if he did, chayv lachzor lo, he must return it to him, to Reuven, if Reuven needs it. When is this the case? Also, if Shimon took the security not at the time of the loan. So meaning, what happened? It came time to repay the loan. Reuven didn't repay the loan, so Bezdin says, okay, Reuven, you have to provide a security. But if Reuven needs it back, like he needs it at night or whatever, so he gets it back. But aval mashkino b'shas aval also. But if at the time of the loan, Reuven says, "Here, take this as a security," well then einu chayiv lachzilo. If Reuven voluntarily at the time of the loan said, "Here, take this," well then Shimon doesn't need the headache of returning it at night or whatever, or during the day, depending on what it is. And on the ratio, when we're saying that if he gets the security shelo b'shas halva also, right, meaning when he's unable to repay it and he has to give it back when Reuven needs it, if he doesn't give it back when Reuven needs it, then he will be in violation of those psukim. Tani Rav Shezvi kame de Rava, Rav Shezvi taught before Rava, ad bo hashemesh tishivenu lo. So all day you have to return it to him until the night, until the sunset. Zoksus laila, this is the nighttime garment. Again, this doesn't make sense, right? Why would you have to return the nighttime garment during the day? Okay. The Gemara is going to ask this in a second. And when the sun sets, i.e. at nighttime, Zoksus Yom, you have to give him his daytime garment. Amrle. So Rava says to Rav Sheshes, that makes no sense. Why are we giving the nighttime garment during the day and the daytime garment during the night? You need the daytime garment during the day and the nighttime garment during the night. Amarle, so Rav Sheshes says, Ismail, you're right, it makes no sense. I will delete this brisa from my brain. Amarle, Rava says, no, don't delete nothing. Hachi ka'amar, this is pshat. Ad bo hashemesh tishivenu lo. So during the day you return to him zoksus yom shenitna lachbo balayla. You return to him the daytime garment during the day, which is a garment that at night you're allowed to hold on to. And at night you give him zoksus laila, you give him the nighttime garment at night, which is a garment that you're allowed to hold as a security during the day. Rabbi Yochanan says, if Shimon took a security from Reuven and then he gave it back to Reuven, and then Reuven dies, so Shimon can, even though generally a loan cannot be collected from metaltalin, but here, because this is something that he had already taken as a security, he can take it from the heirs, from the children. Meisvei, but we ask a kasha. Amr Meir says, that once we take a security, once Shimon takes a security from Reuven, why does he have to return it? Lama machzirin, what do you mean, why do we have to return it? Rahman Amr Ahader. The Torah says, return it. That's what you return it. So, no. So rather, say like this. Once you return it, lama chozrin. So if Shimon took a collateral from Reuven, and then he returned it to Reuven because Reuven needed it, then why is he taking it back again? Why are we playing this ping pong? Every day he takes it back, every night he gives it back, Lama chozrin umashkenin. So the answer is, Shalot hey shvis mishamatzo v'shalo v'lo yaisem etaltan etzel banav. Well, because when Shemitah comes, of course there's Shemitah's ksafim, right? Any loans get canceled. But if there was a security on the loan, right? If Shimon has a security on that loan, then the loan doesn't get canceled. So therefore, yes, even though Shimon gives it back to Reuven, let's say at night, it's still going to take it back again during the day, so that comes Shemitah, there's a security on that loan and it won't be canceled. Additionally, if Shimon has it, then it won't be considered metaltalin with Reuven, meaning if Reuven dies and his kids have it, Shimon would be unable to collect from it. Therefore, Shimon takes it back so that if Reuven dies, he has it. So Taima dehadar umashkene. So we see from this brisa that the reason why if Reuven dies, Shimon can keep the collateral and the security and he can sell it and get his money back. Dehadar umashkene is because Yidavka took it back from Reuven. But if he would not have taken it back from Reuven, and Reuven had it when he died, he wouldn't be able to take it from the kids. So Rabbi Yochanan is saying that he can take it from the kids, but we have a brisa which seems to be saying that you would not be able to take it from the kids, which is why he should go out of his way to take it back when he can. Rav Ada bar Masna says, Rav Ada bar Masna, one second. Filav tarutze kamatratz la nu. If we go back to the beginning of the brisa, right? Why do you return a security? To which we said, that makes no sense. The Torah says you give it back. That's why you give it back. So already we had to amend the brisa and say, okay, fine. So rather, clearly that brisa wasn't correct. Rather, what the brisa is saying is the following: that once you have already returned it, why are you taking it back again? So it says Rav Ada bar Masna, clearly there were some issues with the original text of the brisa, and therefore, Tritzachi. So rather than explain it like you explained it, rather explain it like this: that if ultimately you're going to have to give back the collateral to Reuven, the security to Reuven, why take a security in the first place? It's a headache. You have to keep giving it back and taking it back. Why taking it in the first place? The reason is because once you take it initially and you make that initial sort of kinyan hagbah on it, when you take it, just that initial taking is what allows you that when Shemitah comes, the loan would not be canceled, and if Reuven dies, you can collect it from the children. Right? Just because meaning once you take it that one time, even once you return it, and even if Reuven dies when he has it once again, still he would be able to collect it from the heirs. Don't go to Reuven's house to take a security from him. You can't go to Reuven's house. If there's a guarantor on the loan, you can go to his house and take a security. Similarly, the pasuk says, "Lekach bigdo," take his garment, ki ariv zar v'gomer, because he's a guarantor. And the pasuk says, "Bini, my son, imaravtu l'reacha, takaitu l'zakapecha." if you are a guarantor for your friend and you stuck out your hand for your friend, or you disparaged somebody, you spoke inappropriately to somebody. Do the following: Bini, my son, v'notzel, and be saved. You've come to the hand of your friend. Lechis rapes, do like open your hand, or havri echa, and give to your friend. Im mamon yesh lo biadcha. Okay, if it is that you are this guarantor and you're guaranteeing his money, ater lo pisas yad. So pay the money. Ve'im lav, and if the issue is that you disparaged him, harbe olav reim, well then get a lot of his friends and they should convince him to forgive you. Alternatively, what do we learn out from the Sova al Beisel Avot Avoto? You can't go into Reuven's house, but if he owes you money because you schlepped his stuff, you can go into his house for that. Or he owes you money for for hiring a donkey, or for staying at a kretschmer, or maybe you painted some stuff, you drew some stuff for him, so you can go to his house for that. Can you go to his house even if you made these payments into a loan? It says no, you can't go in there for anything related to a loan, so you would not be able to go in for that. Wow. Okay. That was Daf Kuf Yudal BavaMetzia. There's actually talk a lot of interesting stuff in that page, right? We talked about, do you have to leave sort of Kidei Chayev, Tzarkei Chayev for a loan, but also in a security. But also we had an interesting thing with Eliyahu Hanavi and Rabbi Baravua. That was very, very interesting. Peace out.